This is probably the most infuriating battle that I ever experienced, and it had to be against a Swablu of all things. I swapped into blue while the Doduo started to rage, which wasn't a good idea because it did no damage. Also, haha, new funny number, which was the big mother bird who didn't like me killing her babies. In this video, I fought against a gym leader only using a Minun, and somehow I won. So you might be asking, how did this happen, and how the heck did a Minun do it? Well, let's find out by jumping into Pokemon Emerald Mini. Anyways, I went to the gym, which I can now enter because I got rid of the Cactuon off camera. I talked to Winona to begin the gauntlet, and once she was done explaining the rules, she flew off as the first trainer flew in. Birdkeeper, her brother, was the first trainer that I fought, and also what the heck is that name? He only had a Skarmory, so at least he has some good taste. Dumbbell was then sent out, who was able to use Confusion, which dealt a small amount of damage, even when I was a crit. While the Skarmory used Air Cutter, which also did no damage. So I swapped into blue, who was hit by a Speed Star, dealing a lot more damage than I expected. While blue Spark only got the Metal Bird down to red HP. It was paralyzed right after, but the fact that it didn't kill really disappointed me. The Air Cutter dealt a ton of damage to blue, who was now in yellow. A second Spark was able to destroy it. That was the first Pokemon of the first trainer of this gym, and blue was already struggling. The next trainer was Ashley, who had a Swablu, and if you watched the previous episode, then you would know how blue did against a Swablu. This was an easy Spark on the baby bird, which somehow didn't kill. It did paralyze, but how did you not kill a flying type with an electric stab move? Dumbbell's Metal Claw did a surprising amount of damage to the blue bird, who then decided to use Safeguard to protect itself. That didn't work when Dumbbell landed its second Metal Claw, killing it. Another Swablu came out, so I used the opportunity to heal up blue, while the Swablu failed to put Dumbbell to sleep. Dumbbell then missed a Metal Claw as an Astonish did like 2 damage. The second Metal Claw did hit and did a small amount of damage, while the bird used Furious Swipes and it only got to land it twice. As Metal Claw got it down to red health, and it got to land a Sting. This is probably the most infuriating battle that I ever experienced, and it had to be against a Swablu of all things. Anyways, I grabbed the Chesto Berry to wake up Dumbbell, who was finally able to finish off the baby bird. The third Swablu that she sent out was taken out shortly after. Jared was the last trainer of the first round, and he sent out a Doduo. I really need to switch blue to the front of the party. I swapped to blue while the Doduo started to rage, which wasn't a good idea because it did no damage. Also, haha, new funny number. And now the Doduo is dead because of a Spark. Another Skarmory was sent out, so I had blue immediately hit it with a Spark, which still didn't kill. That Spark not killing made me want to teach blue Thunderbolt, but at least it got paralyzed. I've been getting lucky with Spark paralysis for some reason. Anyways, another Spark was able to destroy the Metal Bird. Now we have Tropius to fight against, who resisted my electric type attacks. I had to swap to Smog, whose flying type moves were still super effective against it, as the 3 Dino stomped on him, which did no damage. I then had Smog fly to the skies to dodge a Razor Leaf, as well as slash the Tree Beast, dealing a ton of damage. Smog then got stomped again, which still did nothing, while he was able to still fly up and slash the Tropius, destroying it. I also decided to switch the battle style from shift to set, meaning that I can't switch out when the opponent sends in their Pokemon. I did this because the shift battle style took way too long, and I needed to edit it out when making a video. Blue gained a level in this battle and wanted to learn Charge, which I debated on but eventually decided not to teach it to Blue. And with that, I just finished the first round and Winona flew back to heal my team. Then explained that I could either continue or rest for a bit. So I decided to rest for a bit so that I can teach Blue Thunderbolt. I got rid of Spark because it was far weaker than Thunderbolt, Then after that, I went into the other battles. The gym trainers in round 2 were mostly easy to take down, so I decided not to show the battles. Now it's time for the gym fight. And I had the team that wasn't fully healed up. Considering my track record of losing the first attempt at a gym battle, I fully expected to lose to her. Swablu was the first one out as I sent out a yellow HP dumbbell, who I healed up on the first turn because Swablu couldn't do anything. It tried to use Mirror Move, which failed. I then had Dumbbell use Metal Claw, which the Swablu replicated using Mirror Move. And that did no damage to me. A second Metal Claw brought it down to red, which was good, because Winona healed up the dumb bird, wasting a Hyper Potion. I still didn't get the attack buff from Metal Claw, which I would have expected to happen by now, because I was using it a lot. The Swablu then used an Aerial Ace after Dumbbell landed another Metal Claw to reduce it down to red. Finally, Dumbbell was able to finish it off. Also, last week's video is the last 3 random games video that will be scripted. For the future, I plan to have live commentary for the 3 random games videos, and hopefully I could pull it off. This won't be the case for this series, because I pre-recorded a bunch of episodes before my old computer decided to detonate itself. So the next couple of videos for this series will definitely have me reading a script. Also, I have a 1 random game video that was also pre-recorded before the incident, but I don't plan to post that video yet because I want to do something special for it. If I already started with that plan, then I'll show some teasers in the background, but rest assured that that video will be something special. Dumbbell leveled up and learned Pursuit, which I got rid of Takedown for. The ace was then sent out, which was the big mother bird, who didn't like me killing her babies. It started to dance as I used Scary Face to lower its speed. Also, if you're enjoying this video so far, then leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Dumbbell used Proceed to deal a small amount of damage, as the bird kept getting stronger from its dancing. It then went for an Earthquake, which killed Dumbbell, so I immediately swapped the blue to hopefully kill this thing with a Thunderbolt. But it barely did anything, as an Earthquake killed blue. Well, what do I do now? I swapped into Iron Fist to hopefully get off a Leech Seed, only for her to die from an Aerial Ace. But she got off one last punch by poisoning it with its ability. Now with that, I swapped into Smog because it couldn't hit him with an Earthquake. And he could fly, which can protect him from an attack. It decided to use Dragon Dance again, which was horrifying. But it now missed its attack because it outspeeds me now, allowing Smog to land its fly, which activated her berry, which healed her back up. That's great. I tried to fly again, but Smog was killed before he could fly up. Hound was the next one up, who was able to lower her attack thanks to Intimidate. Winona luckily attacked instead of healing up, which killed Hound. But her ace was then taken out by the poison shortly after. Skips was my last mon out, which wasn't great because her Tropius was immediately sent out. I checked my bag to see if I had any revives, and I only had one, which I then used to revive blue. As the Tropius set up a Solar Beam, I then used the opportunity to heal up blue, as the Tree Beast fired off a Solar Beam, which of course destroyed Skips. I then sent out blue to fire off a Thunderbolt, which did no damage, as an Aerial Ace also did no damage. By this point, I expected myself to lose, especially when the Tropius used Synthesis to heal itself. I decided to use a T-Wave to paralyze it, as it charged up power for another Solar Beam, which I thought was the end of this run. I went for another Thunderbolt to at least try to get a crit. But it didn't work as a Solar Beam was fired at blue, which didn't kill. So I decided to hit it with another Thunderbolt to weaken it further. And it went for another Synthesis again, are you kidding me? I decided to heal up as to not get killed by another Solar Beam, and it was paralyzed and couldn't move. I used Thunderbolt again, as it went for another Solar Beam, which was a mistake. In the next turn, I used Encore to keep it from healing. And it got paralyzed, which means that Solar Beam failed. Thunderbolt got it down to red, as it couldn't move. And finally, another Thunderbolt was finally able to finish it off. Now we're doomed as Thunderbolt only has a small amount of power points remaining, and it wasn't enough to kill a Skarmory. A Steel Wing then hit blue, and it did a decent amount of damage. We now use a Hyper Potion to heal up Skarmory, as Thunderbolt did less damage. I then checked my bag to see if I had any PP restoring items. Luckily I had an Ether, which I was able to use to get Thunderbolt back, and now Skarmory is using cheap tactics. A Thunderbolt was able to finish it off. As the last Pokemon out was Pelipper, who tried its best to prevent Blue from winning, but it was in vain. And that's how I won a gym battle with only my Minun left standing. I got the badge and now I can fly. I also got the TM for Aerial Ace. Anyways, I healed up, and now we can appreciate the mouse that fought against a battalion of birds and lived to tell the tale. And if you want to watch more of Blue's exploits, then click any of the previous videos on screen. Anyways, adios.